High Admiral Zextal stood at the command center of the Celestial Vanguard, his crystalline eyes fixed on the holographic display of the Sol system. The untapped system had caught the attention of the Galactic Federation's Expansion Council, not for its resources or strategic position, but for an anomaly that defied explanation. "Report," he commanded, his voice resonating through the chamber. Science Officer Mira 7 approached, her bioluminescent patterns pulsing with excitement. "The readings are unprecedented, Admiral. The third planet exhibits energy signatures unlike anything in our database. It's as if the entire planet is alive." The Admiral's facial plates shifted in what his species considered a frown. The Federation had catalogued over 10,000 civilizations, conquered or assimilated half of them, and yet none had ever displayed such readings. According to their initial scans, the dominant species, humans, barely qualified as a Type 1 civilization. Their technology was primitive, their understanding of quantum mechanics elementary at best. Could it be artificial? Zextal questioned, manipulating the hologram to zoom in on Earth's swirling atmosphere. "Negative," Mira 7 responded. "The energy pattern is completely organic, yet it operates on principles that contradict our understanding of physics. It's as if the planet itself is conducting some form of quantum orchestration with its inhabitants." The bridge fell silent. In all their centuries of exploration and conquest, the Federation had never encountered a natural phenomenon that their science couldn't explain. Yet here, orbiting an unremarkable yellow star, was a mystery that challenged everything they thought they knew. "Admiral," the tactical officer's voice cut through the silence, "we're detecting something else. The humans, they're aware of us." "Impossible," Zextal snapped. "Our cloaking technology is absolute. No Type 1 civilization cold." "Sir," the tactical officer interrupted, an act that would normally warrant severe punishment. "They're not using technology to detect us. They're feeling our presence." The holographic display shifted, showing thousands of points of light across Earth's surface. Each point represented a human whose brainwave patterns had suddenly synchronized, all oriented toward the Celestial Vanguard's position. Mira 7's bioluminescence flickered rapidly. "The energy field, Admiral. It's responding to them. The entire planetary quantum matrix is shifting." Zextal felt something he hadn't experienced in centuries. Uncertainty. The Federation's standard procedure for primitive worlds was simple: evaluate, infiltrate, and if necessary, conquer. But this world, this Earth, was already proving to be anything but standard. "Launch the probe," he ordered after a moment's consideration. "Full spectrum analysis. I want to know exactly what we're dealing with." As the probe descended through Earth's atmosphere, the energy readings intensified. The quantum field that enveloped the planet seemed to pulse with awareness, like a vast consciousness acknowledging their presence. "Admiral," Mira 7 whispered, her patterns now pulsing with alarm. "The field, it's not just responding to our presence, it's studying us." The probe's transmission suddenly filled with static, its sensors overwhelmed by the increasing intensity of the quantum field. Before the feed cut out entirely, it captured one final image: a group of humans standing in a circle, their eyes closed, hands linked. They weren't using any technology, weren't wielding any weapons, yet somehow they were channeling power that made the Federation's most advanced energy matrices look primitive in comparison. Zextal's crystalline eyes narrowed as he processed this information. The Federation had always classified civilizations based on their technological advancement, their mastery over energy and matter. But here was something entirely different, a species that had evolved in symphony with their planet's natural quantum field, developing abilities that transcended conventional physics. "Recall the probe," he ordered, his voice heavy with the weight of discovery. "And send word to the Council. Tell them we found something unprecedented. A world that might force us to redefine our understanding of power itself." As the message was transmitted across the vast distances of space, Zextal continued to watch the holographic display of Earth. The planet's quantum field pulsed with a rhythm that seemed almost like a heartbeat, a reminder that sometimes the greatest power lies not in the technology we build, but in the natural forces we learn to harmonize with. The Federation had come looking for another world to add to their collection. Instead, they had found a mystery that would challenge everything they thought they knew about the universe and their place in it. The research vessel Quantum Seeker drifted silently through Earth's upper atmosphere, its advanced stealth systems rendering it invisible to conventional detection methods. Lead researcher Kira 9, a fourth-generation synthetic being, watched the data streams flow across her neural interface with growing fascination. "This defies all established models," she transmitted to her team. "The quantum field isn't just active, it's responsive, interactive, almost intelligent." Below them, the sprawling cityscape of Tokyo glowed in the pre-dawn light. Millions of humans went about their daily lives, unaware that they were being studied by beings whose technology could reshape continents, or so the aliens had thought. Team leader, one of her subordinates, called out, "We're detecting a concentration of the field's energy in Sector 7. Request permission to deploy ground units." Kira 9 hesitated. The Federation's standard protocols for studying primitive species were clear: observe from a distance, collect data, avoid direct contact. But everything about Earth had already proven to be far from standard. "Permission granted," she decided, "but maintain passive scanning only. We don't want to trigger whatever it is these humans can do." The ground team materialized in an abandoned warehouse district, their photonic camouflage systems making them virtually undetectable. They moved silently through the empty streets, following the increasing intensity of the quantum field readings. "Leader, the energy signature is getting stronger," reported Scout 12. "It's unlike anything we've—" "Wait." The Scout's transmission cut off abruptly. "Scout 12, report," Kira 9 commanded. Static filled the channel. Through the ground team's visual feed, Kira 9 watched as a single human emerged from the shadows. She appeared unremarkable, an elderly woman in simple clothing, leaning on a wooden cane. But the quantum field readings around her were off the charts. "I've been expecting you," the woman spoke, looking directly at the cloaked aliens. "Though I must say, you're rather late. We sensed your arrival weeks ago." The ground team's camouflage systems flickered and failed, revealing their true forms. The woman showed no surprise at the sight of the otherworldly beings before her. "How?" Kira 9 transmitted through the team's external speakers. "Our technology is beyond anything your species has encountered." The old woman smiled, her eyes twinkling with ancient wisdom. "Technology," she said, tapping her cane gently on the ground. "Always so focused on technology. That's where you've misunderstood us completely." As if in response to her words, the quantum field around them began to shift and pulse. The aliens' instruments went haywire, reporting energy levels that should have been impossible for any natural phenomenon. "You see," the woman continued, "while you've been building machines to harness the universe's power, we've been learning to listen to it, to feel it, to become one with it." She closed her eyes, and the very air seemed to vibrate with potential. The ground team's advanced scanning equipment began to short out, overwhelmed by the intensifying field. "Your species has achieved remarkable things," she acknowledged. "But you've forgotten something fundamental about the nature of existence. The universe isn't just a collection of particles to be manipulated. It's alive, conscious, and it responds to those who learn to speak its language." Kira 9 watched in amazement as the woman raised her hand. Without any visible technology, without any apparent effort, she created a display of quantum manipulation that their most advanced systems couldn't hope to match. The very fabric of reality seemed to dance at her command. "This is impossible," one of the ground team members transmitted. "The energy requirements alone would—" "Impossible," the woman chuckled. "Perhaps by your understanding of physics. But there are older laws at work here, deeper truths that your science hasn't yet grasped." The display ended as suddenly as it had begun, leaving the alien researchers in stunned silence. Their instruments, those that still functioned, recorded energy signatures that contradicted everything they thought they knew about the universe's fundamental forces. "Go back to your leaders," the woman said, turning to leave. "Tell them what you've seen here. And remember, true power isn't about domination or control. It's about harmony, understanding, connection." She paused, looking back over her shoulder. "We've been waiting for you to learn this lesson for a very long time." As the woman disappeared into the shadows, Kara 9 realized that their mission had just become something far more significant than a simple investigation. They hadn't just discovered a new form of energy manipulation. They had stumbled upon a fundamentally different way of existing within the universe itself. The question now wasn't whether humanity was powerful enough to join the Federation. The question was whether the Federation was evolved enough to understand what humanity had become. The emergency meeting of the Federation Council materialized in holographic form aboard the Celestial Vanguard. Representatives from 1,000 worlds shimmered in the vast chamber, their attention fixed on the data streaming from Earth. High Admiral Zextal stood beside lead researcher Kara 9 as she presented their findings. "The humans aren't just connected to their planet's quantum field," she explained, her synthetic form projecting the recorded images of their encounter in Tokyo. "They're evolving with it. Every human child born shows stronger resonance with the field than the last generation." The council chamber erupted in concerned murmurs. A representative from the Arcturus Collective stepped forward, their crystalline form catching the starlight. "This cannot be allowed to continue. If they truly are evolving at such a rate." An alert cut through the chamber, silencing all discussion. On the main display, Earth's quantum field had begun to pulse with unprecedented intensity. "It's happening again," Kara 9 announced, her voice tinged with what could almost be described as awe. "But this time, it's different. The resonance is spreading." The holographic display showed a wave of quantum activity sweeping across Earth's surface. In cities, towns, and remote villages, humans were spontaneously awakening to their connection with the field. Children playing in parks suddenly stopped, looking up at the sky with knowing smiles. Office workers paused at their desks, feeling the pulse of the planet beneath their feet. "This is what we feared," another council member declared. "They're becoming aware of their potential. We must act now. Before." "Before what?" The voice came from behind them, echoing through the chamber with impossible clarity. The holographic council members turned as one to find a human standing among them, a young man in simple clothing, somehow projecting his presence across the vast distance of space. "How did you breach our security?" Zextal demanded, though he already suspected the answer. The human smiled. "The same way we've been watching you watch us. The quantum field isn't limited to Earth, Admiral. It permeates all of space. We just learned to listen to it first." Kara 9's sensors were going haywire, trying to analyze how a human could project himself across such vast distances without any apparent technology. The energy required for this kind of quantum tunneling should be impossible. The human finished. "That word keeps coming up. But what your instruments are telling you isn't impossible. It's just beyond your current understanding." He gestured, and a holographic display shifted to show Earth from a new perspective. The planet's quantum field was now visible as a complex web of energy, extending far beyond its atmosphere. "We've always been connected to this field," he continued. "Every human, every living thing on Earth. But we're only now beginning to understand what that really means. The old woman you met in Tokyo, she's one of our teachers, part of a lineage that has kept this knowledge alive for millennia, waiting for the right moment." The council members watched in stunned silence as the human demonstrated their newfound awareness. Without any visible effort, he began to manipulate the quantum field itself, creating patterns of energy that their most advanced scientists had never dreamed possible. "Your Federation has achieved remarkable things through technology," he acknowledged. "But you've been so focused on building machines to control the universe that you forgot to listen to it. Earth didn't develop advanced technology because we were developing something else entirely, a direct connection to the fundamental forces of reality itself. Zextal stepped forward, his crystalline eyes studying the human intently. Why reveal this to us now? Why not continue to hide your abilities? The human's expression grew serious. Because you need to understand. The universe isn't a resource to be conquered or controlled. It's a living system, and we're all part of it. Earth isn't just our planet, it's our teacher. And now that we're finally beginning to understand its lessons, we want to share them. The quantum field around Earth pulsed again, stronger this time. Across the planet, more humans were awakening to their connection with it. But instead of chaos or panic, there was a sense of profound harmony, of pieces falling into place that had been waiting to align for millennia. Your Federation stands at a crossroads, the human continued. You can try to suppress what's happening here, to maintain your belief in technological supremacy. Or you can join us in learning what the universe has been trying to teach all along. That true power comes not from dominion over nature, but from understanding our place within it. As if to emphasize his words, the quantum field rippled outward from Earth, touching every ship in the Federation fleet. For a brief moment, every being present felt what the humans had discovered, a direct, conscious connection to the living energy of the cosmos itself. In the aftermath of humanity's demonstration, the Federation fleet hung motionless in space, their most advanced weapons powered down, their sensors still struggling to process what they had witnessed. High Admiral Zextal stood in his private chamber aboard the Celestial Vanguard, gazing at the blue planet below. The Arcturus Collective is mobilizing their fleet, Mira 7 reported, entering the chamber. They're not alone. 3 other Federation members have already launched their battle groups. They're calling for immediate intervention. Zextal's crystalline features remained impassive, but his inner turmoil manifested in the shifting colors beneath his translucent skin. Of course they are, he said quietly. Fear always demands action, especially when faced with something we don't understand. On the holographic display, he could see the approaching fleets, thousands of ships representing the most powerful civilizations in known space. Each vessel carried enough firepower to level a continent. Yet after what they had witnessed, Zextal wondered if all that technology meant anything at all. Admiral, Kira 9 interrupted, her synthetic form materializing in the chamber. You need to see this. She projected a new set of readings, showing the quantum field activity around Earth. The humans. They're not even trying to defend themselves. They're just waiting. The display shifted to show various locations across Earth's surface. In cities and villages, humans continued their daily lives, seemingly unconcerned about the armada gathering above their world. Children played in parks, workers went to their jobs, farmers tended their fields. But now there was something different about them. A subtle glow in their eyes, a harmony in their movements that spoke of their awakened connection to the quantum field. They don't need to defend themselves, Zextal realized. They've already won. A new presence filled the chamber, the same young human who had addressed the council. This time, he wasn't alone. The elderly woman from Tokyo stood beside him, along with others. A child with eyes that seemed to hold ancient wisdom, a farmer whose calloused hands shaped quantum energies as easily as they worked the soil. Your battle fleets are impressive, the young man said, his voice carrying that same impossible clarity. The combined technological might of 1,000 worlds. But ask yourself, what are you really fighting against? Zextal turned to face them. You represent a fundamental shift in the balance of power. The Federation was built on the principle that advanced technology equals advancement. Your existence challenges everything we believe. The elderly woman stepped forward, her cane tapping softly on the deck. Does it? Or does it simply show you a different path to advancement? One you've always had available to you, but were too focused on machines to see. Around them, the quantum field shimmered with possibility. The human child raised her hand, and suddenly they were no longer in the Admiral's chamber. Instead, they stood in what appeared to be a vast library of energy, patterns of quantum information stretching infinitely in all directions. "This is what we've been trying to show you," the child explained, her voice carrying the weight of centuries. "The universe isn't just matter and energy to be controlled. It's a living library, a network of consciousness that connects everything. We didn't develop this power. We simply learned to access what was always there." The farmer gestured, and the view changed again. Now they could see the approaching Federation fleets from a new perspective. Each ship, each weapon, each piece of advanced technology was revealed as a crude attempt to replicate what the quantum field could do naturally. "Your civilization has achieved remarkable things," the young man acknowledged. "But you've reached the limits of what technology alone can accomplish. We're offering you something more. A chance to evolve beyond the need for external tools, to understand the universe as a participant rather than an observer." Zextal felt the truth of their words resonating through his crystalline form. The Federation's power had always been based on control, controlling resources, controlling energy, controlling less advanced species. But the humans had discovered something else entirely: partnership with the fundamental forces of reality itself. "The fleets will arrive in 6 hours, Mira 7 reported quietly. The elderly woman smiled. "Then you have 6 hours to make a choice, Admiral. Will you continue down the path of control and conquest, or will you accept our invitation to learn a different way?" Around them, the quantum field pulsed with potential, offering a glimpse of possibilities that even the Federation's most advanced prediction matrices couldn't have imagined. Zextal looked at his officers, at the approaching fleets, at the peaceful planet below. In all his centuries of service, he had never faced a decision quite like this. The future of not just Earth or the Federation, but of all spacefaring civilizations, hung in the balance. And for the first time in his long life, Zextal wondered if perhaps the humans had discovered what his people had spent millennia searching for: not the power to control the universe, but the wisdom to understand their place within it. The combined Federation battle fleet dropped out of hyperspace in perfect formation, their weapons primed, their shields at maximum power. 10,000 ships representing the most advanced military force ever assembled in known space. High Admiral Zextal watched them approach on the Celestial Vanguard's main display, knowing that the next few moments would determine the course of galactic history. "Admiral," the Arcturus fleet commander transmitted, "our sensors detect no defensive preparations from the planet. We can begin the intervention immediately." Before Zextal could respond, something extraordinary happened. Earth's quantum field, which had been quietly pulsing in the background, suddenly expanded. Not aggressively, not as a weapon, but as an invitation. Every being on every ship felt it. A gentle touch of consciousness, offering understanding. "No," Zextal commanded, his voice carrying across all channels. "Hold your positions." The quantum field rippled, and suddenly the space around Earth transformed. The assembled fleet found themselves surrounded by patterns of energy that made their most advanced sensors seem primitive by comparison. But it wasn't just a display of power, it was a demonstration of possibility. Through their connection to the field, the humans shared their perspective with every being present. The Federation's ships, their weapons, their very understanding of physics, all were revealed as just the first steps towards something far greater. The humans weren't showing them defeat. They were offering evolution. "We understand your fear," spoke a chorus of human voices, resonating through the quantum field itself. "Change is always frightening, especially when it challenges everything you believe about your place in the universe. But look closer. See what we've discovered." The field shifted again, and suddenly every being present could perceive reality as the humans did. They saw the living network of quantum consciousness that connected all things. They felt the pulse of stars, the dance of atoms, the subtle interplay of forces that their technology had only begun to grasp. In that moment, the truth became undeniable. Humanity hadn't developed a weapon or a defense. They had awakened to the true nature of existence itself. Their power didn't come from controlling the universe, but from understanding their role within it. "This is what we offer the Federation," the human voices continued. "Not submission to our way, but partnership in discovery. The quantum field isn't just Earth's teacher, it's the universe's own consciousness, waiting for all species to recognize it. High Admiral Zextal stepped forward on his bridge, his crystalline form resonating with the field's energy. "Lower your weapons," he commanded the fleet. "Power down your systems. Look with your own consciousness, not your sensors." One by one, the Federation ships dimmed their weapons. In the silence that followed, something unprecedented occurred. The quantum field that Earth had awakened began to spread, not through force, but through recognition. Across the fleet, individuals from 1,000 different species felt their own dormant connections to the field stirring to life. This is the true revelation. The elderly woman from Tokyo appeared on every ship simultaneously, her eyes filled with ancient wisdom. Earth wasn't unique in its connection to the field. We were simply the first to remember what all living beings once knew. The power you sought through technology has always been within you, waiting to be awakened. The child with ancient eyes appeared beside her, speaking with the voice of generations. The Federation spent millennia building machines to master the universe, never realizing that the universe itself was inviting you to join its dance. We didn't develop this power, we remembered it. And now, you can remember too. Across the fleet, beings of all species began to feel what the humans had discovered. The farmer appeared, demonstrating how the same principles that let him tend his fields could be used to navigate the cosmos. The young man showed how their technology could be merged with quantum awareness, creating something greater than either alone. In that moment, the Federation changed forever. The assembled fleet, which had come to subdue a primitive world, instead became witness to the next step in cosmic evolution. Earth wasn't just another world to be added to their collection. It was the key to understanding what their civilization could become. The choice remains yours. The human chorus spoke one final time. You can cling to the old ways of power and control, or you can join us in exploring what lies beyond. We offer not submission, but transformation. Not the end of your civilization, but its rebirth. High Admiral Zextal looked out at the assembled fleet, at the glowing blue planet below, at the shimmering quantum field that connected them all. In all his centuries of service, he had never felt more certain of anything than the words he spoke next. On behalf of the Federation, we choose to learn. The quantum field pulsed one final time, not in triumph or dominance, but in harmony. The greatest fleet ever assembled hung suspended in space, not as conquerors, but as students. And on Earth below, humanity continued its daily life, knowing that they had helped guide an entire civilization toward a truth they had only recently discovered themselves, that the greatest power in the universe lies not in domination, but in understanding, not in separation, but in connection, not in control, but in harmony with the cosmic dance of existence itself.